Evening, welcome to the Toon review for the second part of our transfer show for this week. Evening to Stato is with us now, but we've also got three more players to go today. But before we get into it, we'll do all the rigmarole first. If you are new around this kind of neck of the woods, hit that subscribe button for us. We are heading towards 29,000 subscribers. Hit the thumbs up also, give us a like, that helps also. Super Chats also available by clicking the dollar sign. And also, you can become a member of the channel by clicking the join button, which is below us also. And that takes you through to a payment route to get you through to become a member. How are you, Stato?
Yeah, not too bad. Enjoying doing all the research. Got lots to do. Director of football research, player research. I'm hoping that obviously one of the players that we end up doing, all the director of footballs that we're obviously reviewing, end up actually joining the club. So it makes sense, and then these were worthwhile. But
absolutely,
you never know.
Well, let's have a look, see what we've got in the way of comments. First one is from Jan. He says, base team for 24-25. Pope, Dub, Sven, Cher, Tino, Bruno, Sandro, Joe Linton, Minte, Willock, Gordon, Miley, Alfie, Harrison, Isaac, Anderson, Barnescraft, Hall, Trips, and two new strikers, two new midfielders, and two new defenders. I think he might be being a bit optimistic there. Do you, Stato?
Oh, you'd get rid of Dubravka, to be honest.
I think you're right. I think we might get some money for him. So, yeah, I think we get rid of that. We'll see what goes on. Andrew is in the house. Good evening to you. Toon Gamer says, Marley, the 19th wonder kid prospecting world football today. Just shows how much he is rated.
Where was that?
Where, I wonder where that was. Kobe Main, who's been called up into the England squad, I noticed today as well, in the full England squad. Evening to you, Corinne.
Yeah, I'm a little bit funny about that.
I must be honest, I am as well.
I don't want to be harsh to him because he's a very, very good young player. He looks like he's good for it. However, I think it's a massive slap in the face to players like Barkley and Ward-Prowse. There were players who possibly deserve that call-up. There's no doubt that Mainu's a solid player.
Yeah,
really technically gifted, can play in a deeper role, possibly useful for the England squad. But it's just I just don't like how it's been done. You know, Henderson needs to be binned off straight away. You need Ward-Prowse, Barkley, and Mainu, fine, but Mainu first. I felt like again, it's just I feel like it's peer pressure. I feel like it's media pressure. I feel like it's Man United fans and the hype around it all. And you know, as soon as Southgate sat down for his first press conference, it was questions about Mainu immediately off the bat. It doesn't sit right with me. I feel like it's extremely disrespectful to players like Barkley and Ward-Prowse. As good as Mainu is, I think Mainu is very likely might even be the right pick. But sometimes there's a way you go about things.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's yeah, you bang on. I mean, Barkley's had a fantastic season, and I think he should have been named in before Mainu. Couldn't agree more with that. He also says Real Madrid scouts was at our match against Man City to watch Bruno and Isaac report safe in Spain.
Yeah, that was widely reported.
They wouldn't have seen much of yeah.
Well, they're going to have to give us a big chunk of change if they want both of them. That's going to clear 200 million. So
easily, yeah, easily. Afternoon to Ian. All right, lads and lasses, buzzing to get in the live chat with Paul, Alex, Sam, and Billy, and looking forward to another class show. Only myself and Stato tonight, and it'll only be Paul and Sam tomorrow night. So Thursday night is the next time you'll see us all together. Evening to Michael and Chippers and Mike and Paul. Quinn says, don't forget to thumb up. Absolutely. Stato put a clue in for one of the players tonight. He says, Minas Gerais. I don't know how you pronounce that, but and the five prediction said, so he's Brazilian. So we shall see. Evening to Mighty Mag, Fuggy Crack. Let's just get rid of that. Trolls is in the house. Good evening to you, Trolls. Hope you're well. Tom Lynch is also here, and he says, good evening, everyone. Looking forward to the transfer show round 2. The five prediction says, is it Marcos Leonardo? We shall see.
It is not. We've done him before, but I think hasn't he agreed to transfer somewhere else?
I don't know.
I think he's already gone somewhere.
Evening to Nick Thornton and to Gillian Watson and to Daniel Graham. What else we've got? Anthony Clark, and even to you. Hello, fine people. It's his first live, so treat him gently. Well, welcome to the first live, Anthony, and I hope you enjoy the show tonight. Also, good evening to Peter Bird of Fjord, who's also an Arsenal supporter, as we found out. And Michael Burge, Billy Bob the White Isaac. Eddie, work your magic. Well, let's hope you can find one. Who knows? We might have one tonight. You never know. Carl, good evening to you. Etc. Etc. Tony Douglas. And Jan Levens has posted that thing again. I've already read it. Jordy Rick, good evening to you. He says, evening all, just popped on to say hi. Feeling down. Cat passed away today. Have a good show, lads. And that is. Sorry to hear that news, mate. It's not nice when a pet goes. So just hope you keep your chin up, etc. Anton, good afternoon to you. Right, the first player, Jamstasha, good evening to you also. And the Naked, it's an interesting name. The Naked Noise Boy. Very interesting. And Mick J. Good evening to you. Peter Loketo, Peter McCardle, Venamega, and Spike Milligan. Good evening to you also. Hope you're well, my friend. Right, let's have the first play. Let's see who we've got here. It's Alison. Interesting.
Well, Foxy deserves a chocolate biscuit because he got it right. So, yes, it is Alison Santana from Atlético Mineiro in Brazil. Difficult one to kind of do this one. I've had to watch loads of him because there's literally no data on him at all. He's a baby, and he's not really been playing a lot of football in the Brazilian league. And I'll explain what I mean by that. If we look at his FB ref, it's kind of useless. Because
how old is he?
18. He's 18. So there's no picture. His name is technically there's more. There's Lopez da Fonseca. There's a bit more there. But he's not really played any minutes in the Brazilian top league, which I'll explain why. He has been playing lots of football, but just not in the main league. And if we scroll down, there's bugger all there. He's played 49 minutes in one appearance when he was 17. So the reason for this is, well, we'll get to that bit. So he is a forward. He from what I've seen of him, he plays mostly on the right, and he's a left-footed right winger. I would say he's probably his shoe-in position, although he's young enough for that to be flexible. Wears the 45, which is a lot of Brazilians seem to wear the 45. He's reasonably. It does say he's quite small. He's 173. FB ref says he's 5'9" and a bit. He doesn't feel that small when you're watching him play. He's got, we're going to go with the chonk. We're going to get the chonk phrase back out. He's not a baby. He's physically able to actually win a lot of battles. He's got a bit more about him as a kid, and he's not. The player values on all the websites are tiny. So this is definitely a reasonable one that's going to get picked up. It's not a guarantee, though. I mean, Jan's just put in the chat, same as Minter. Yeah, absolutely. This is one of those that you pick up for a few million. It might work, it might not. But it's one of those that you gamble on because if it does work, he looks like he could be the real deal. It may not work, though. But we'll scroll down and have a look at what the situation is. So the reason there's not a lot of data on him is because he didn't really play in the Brasileirão, if I can actually pronounce that. Brasileirão, however you meant to say that in Brazilian Portuguese, Serie A. So the top league in Brazil. The last game he played in December. And then he's been playing in the Mineiro Modulo 1, which is a regional competition in that part of Brazil.
Right.
I've never actually watched... Well, I have because I've done a bit of research on this kid. But before this kid, I hadn't really watched what this was. So apparently, what this league is, if I've actually Googled it, is this. So it's a regional competition for a Brazilian state football league, state of Minas Gerais, which is what we put in the chat beforehand as the clue. And then you've got teams in that region. So in Belo Horizonte is where the team's based at Atlético Mineiro. So he's been putting in performances in this regional competition. Foxy's put state championships. So a little bit different. It's why he's not profiling in a lot of bigger websites because he's playing in a regional competition within Brazil, which is fine. This is the competition at the moment, and it's broken up into groups, which is South American football is again. I mean, me and Tom had this conversation a few weeks ago. It's just weird. Where are they? I don't even know where they... Is that them? That's not that. No, that's not them. I don't even know where they are. I don't understand. It's so weird. Oh, there they are. They're in Group B, whatever that means. They're in whatever this competition is. Apparently, it's group stages of... I don't know. They're in this league, and he plays in it. And he's playing lots of games, and he's playing really well. Again, difficult to gauge on the quality. And as you can see there, it is fantastic South American football. The game that it's defaulted to includes 3 red cards, which it wouldn't be a Brazilian transfer show if we didn't see lots of red cards in the little graphic here. But as you can see, really, really high ratings for these individual performances. So he actually plays with, some of you may know, blast from the past, Hulk. So he plays for Atletico Mineiro up front. So the guy who never came to the Premier League, he decided to play in Russia, and I don't know why he did that, but he played in funny places instead of coming to a decent league. But he's still quite well known in football circles and people that watched other football. So here is him on the right-hand side in the 45 in a 4-3-3. We'll scroll on and have a look at how he did this game. 3 shots off target, 3 successful dribbles, and he got stuck in with 6 out of 12 duels. Having watched him, he is super, super physical on that right-hand side. And he's a guy, he's just one of these that can pick the ball up and beat 3. He's got a bit of physicality about him. He's got high technical ability with the ball. He's got athleticism, all of it. It's really, really impressive. Let's go and have a look at the previous game against Ipatinga, whoever they are. 3-0, and he got an assist in this game. Again, in a 4-2-3-1 this time, with him out on the right again. And he's profiled very well. All he was doing was attacking down that right-hand side for that entire game, as you can see from the heat map. And it's much of a muchness. He got 2 key passes, 4 accurate crosses. Bearing in mind, he's a left-footed right winger. So there is that invertedness there, which makes this slightly more plausible.
Yep.
Is he as fast as Minter? I don't think so. I think he's probably a little bit slower, but I think he's a bit more physical. He looks... From the clips, he looks more of a finished product, which is ridiculous for me to say that because the clips I've seen of him in a regional division and Mintes playing in Europe and in European competitions as well. So maybe that's ridiculous. I've got nothing to base that on other than what I've seen with my eyes. But he does look a bit more. He's not quite as raw. He's still a very raw player. Not quite. Mintes is really raw though. Sometimes he just runs around. So dribble attempts, I mean, that's ridiculous. 9 completed dribbles is absurd. It's absolutely absurd. That's an enormous volume of dribbles completed. 10 out of 17 ground duels as well. So for an 18-year-old, he's really, really good at progressing the ball. He's a tidy winger at beating his man. And he's putting the physicality up despite being a young player. Drew 3 fouls as well. We'll look at one more game. He had a decent game here against Tombense. An 8.1, scored in this game as well. Did he even start? It doesn't look like he started. So they played a 4-4-2 with Hulk. So when did he come on then? 45th minute, he replaced is that their right back? Yes, it is. He replaced their right back at half time. And he did very similar things. Just basically lived on the right wing with 4 crosses, a long ball, 2 key passes, 6 completed dribbles, 7 out of 12 ground duels. You can see what this kid's about. It's right wing. The right wing is his. He's just going to attack you all day long on that right-hand side. So despite being left-footed, he's still beating his man. A really, really good volume of crosses from the games that we're looking at as well, which is really, really impressive considering he's a left-footed on the right wing. High cross volume, which is really, really tidy. Still a young player, very, very raw. But again, I think this is a good shout for a cheap pickup. Obviously, the downside is it would be a foreign spot in the squad. So if we have a look at his actual stuff, yeah, I mean Foxy's saying the same low level opposition. Yeah, I know it's against low level opposition, but I can only judge on what I've seen, and it is a regional competition. It's low level, but I still really like it. I still really think he's impressive. I don't think. I mean, it depends what the regional competitions offer now. I don't know what else he's got left to play. When does the Brazilian League resume? I can't remember because I know they changed it for the funny World Cup we had last year, but I don't know when it's due to start again. So there may be scope to watch him play more difficult games before, obviously, a summer window. So we'll have to have a look at when he's going to be likely to play again against proper opposition. So transfer mark seem to think he can play all across the front line as a sort of a deeper attacking midfielder or on either wing. His player agent, I didn't actually look at this, is Velop for Sports. Who are you? You're Brazilian.
Anyone famous, sir?
Wellington Silva. Yeah, he was somebody once upon a time. Yeah, not really. Not really. Low market value on the players. And there's not really much to show you on here because he's not been part of the international setup. And this is his first club. So, yeah. April 14th, Serie A starts. Okay, thank you, Foxy. So, yeah, from April 14th then, that's great. So we will start to see this kid pre-summer. So April, May, June. So we'll get a few months of him before the summer transfer window kicks in to see whether he can do it against top opposition. Presumably, there's going to be a lot of scouting emphasis from European teams going to watch when that starts again, just pre-summer. So I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not sure if it would be us. I think there's probably a low probability we go for this guy, even though it's a good pickup. But I think there's a high probability somebody gets him. I think it's a reasonable pickup if he develops well and plays well in the start of the league in Brazil in April. Then I could see a team bidding for him. I could definitely see him coming to Europe. It's a very minte transfer, and you gamble with 3, 4, 5 mil and hope it works.
That sounds very interesting. Let's get rid of that, and we shall do a few comments because there are some comments that have come in about him. Don Pearson, says, "Go on then, Alex. I'm sold. We'll have him. But best be quick before Chelsea pick him up." So yeah.
He'll probably sign for City or Chelsea. Well, to be fair, I don't think he's proven enough to make that kind of transfer yet. Nowhere near. This is a very, he's not done the hard miles in terms of being picked up by a top club. There's question marks. Someone
else also mentioned Nick Thornton here, says, would he be another to go straight out on loan?
Yeah, probably.
Probably would be. But, I mean, he looks a promising player. I like the sound of that. Basically, he must be 230. He was getting crosses in from the right wing as well. So, he's a very promising player and one with lots of potential for us. So, yeah, I'm all in for them kind of players.
Because some of them won't work, but, it's worth,
of course,
trying to get as many as you can. And you would imagine if it doesn't work, we turn a profit on him.
Yeah, 100%.
Generally, unless it really fails. But I would imagine you'd get a decent profit on this guy.
100%. And Mike Elliott, who's actually become a new member, welcome to the Members Club, Mike. He says, yes, definitely worth a punt, Alex. Absolutely. Toon Gamer says, could be another Minte or another Koal. Well, you never know, do you? The Rough Opposition seems to think that Porto might be interested in him. And Peter says he would be a similar signing to Martinelli. And then Nick says he could be a Brighton type signing.
Well, or Porto, a Portuguese team could pick him up. Very possible.
Good evening to you, Julie J. Mod in there in the background. Hope you're well. Evening to Stotty. DK35 says, hope we can get a middle more in the Bernardo Silva Grealish mould, who are more possession based and less dribbling.
That was Tonali, but we'll
have him next year, won't we? And Julian says a really promising young lad. Absolutely. I like the sound of that. And Toon Trader, just to take it off the subject a bit, he says, I know it's not really for today's show, but I'd love to know your thoughts on the points reduction for Forest. We spoke about it last night, didn't we, really? It's odd.
It's unfair.
Yeah, well, I think it's really unfair. And then we've got a couple of I've started a couple of things here. This is Mike Elliott, who says, well, lads, what do you think about the regulated thing, the government thing that's regulated today, gone through Parliament? Potentially it could be a good thing, but we should see how it works. As always, proof's in the pudding, isn't it?
Oh, I don't like it. It's not their business to get involved in football.
No, it's not, but it's trying to get fan involvement, isn't it, onto the board and things like that, which I guess is something we've already done, haven't we, a little bit?
Well, there are elements of it that I like, and then there are financial elements of it I don't like. Cultural intervention I agree with, such as trying to change. If your team has had a historically blue kit, don't come in and change it to red, or completely mess around with the badge. Like, I get that stuff. That I completely agree with that. But some of the financial aspects, again, not your place. It's not the government's place. Out you go. Yeah. Like, it's just not. It's not their politics out of football, in my opinion.
I agree with that as well. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, some bits. And Tom Lynch asks, "What's on Thursday's show?" Well, that's an interesting question, Tom. It's the. Can we say that? We can say, can't we, Stato?
I'll keep it secret who it is, just in case people decide to copy it. So it is going to be a director of football show. It's going to be one of the highly suspected people, but I'm going to keep the cards close to my chest, and all will be revealed on the day. But yeah, director of football show on Thursday.
Yep, 100%. And another one to look forward to. It'll be the third one we've done after the other two we've done. Mitchell and can't remember who the second one was. Who was the second one? It was lad at Brentford.
It was Phil Giles.
Yeah,
was the second one. Yeah.
Evening to Channel Roy. Good evening, gents. I like looking at these potential talents. Absolutely. Nick thought says Chelsea look like a massive black hole come the end of the season. Yeah, they are. Hence why they're kind of depending on the money that we're going to give them for Lewis Hall. Hello to Al Pachuga. I hope you're well. Kev T says Eddie Howe won't be gambling this window. This one will define his future. We need a director of football to look at this type of signing. Eddie won't spend any time on these signings. There's still a scouting network, though, Kev. You know, it's not just about Eddie. You know, they would have sent out to be doing their jobs, whether it's director of football there or not. So, interesting thing. And, you know, the NUFC United says, I work in the game. Ben Daughter, top coach, and academy football is about player development, not winning league. E.g., we are above Man City in PL2.
That's a fair point.
He's an expert on the subject, being in that realm of football. So, yeah, It's Me says we need physicality on the pitch. I tend to agree. Good evening to Coffee as well. And Niall says if we were only to get a 4-point deduction, I think we should go mad. I don't think we'd get a 4-point deduction if we went mad. If I'm perfectly honest,
a 40-point deduction.
I think they can only go as far as 12, can't they? But you can guarantee we'd go 12. It's just something we don't really want to look at. I like Coffee says if you're enjoying the stream, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. It's free to do so, and feel free to use the super chat feature or become a member and help support the channel. Well said. I like Coffee. Are we ready for the second player? I guess we can do another play now, can't we?
We can indeed, yeah.
Let's see who we've got here then. Omar Marmoush.
Yeah,
Yes.
Omar Marmoush, I think is how you say that. Omar Khalid Mohammed Marmoush. So Egyptian from Cairo. So lovely and exotic. Interesting pick. I don't think we've ever had an Egyptian black and white. No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Can't think of any. Yeah, Tom will know, maybe. Have we ever had anybody play for from Egypt play for Newcastle? Because I can't think of anybody. Downside, straight off the bat, African Cup of Nations. I'm going to just rubber stamp that on there. I don't like having too many players from African nations because Africa decide occasionally to do AFCON every year, which is a problem. It affected Bayer Leverkusen. It affected Forest. It depends. I think Pep tends to sort of avoid it now purely because of again it's AFCON. It's difficult for teams sometimes, especially if it's one of your best players. It can be challenging for you when you're missing them because obviously they decide to stick it right in the middle of the season, which is fine, but it's right in the middle of our proper season, so it's tough. However, he is Egyptian. He is 25, so he's not a youth player. He's probably peaking, ready to go. 5'9". He is a winger / forward. So for Frankfurt at the moment, that is who Sasha Kalajic went to. So the really, really, really big, tall, lanky guy who was at Wolves, who got really bad injuries and got an ACL and everything. He was playing up front,
wasn't it?
Yeah. So he was playing up front for Frankfurt, and Marmoush was playing out wide. And then funny that he's got injured again. Kalajic has. So Marmoush has had to go up front, wearing the 7 shirt, basically spearheading. He's 5'9", so quite interesting. He's on 30 grand a week, contracted until June 2027. So I don't really know how much this guy'd cost. We'll have a look at Transfermarkt. But really, really good return this year for him, outperforming his XG by over 2. So 7.7 XG, and he's got 10 goals. And he's got 2 more than he should assist-wise as well, with 6 assists. So this is not sustainable in the long run. He won't always do this. He's overperforming in the Conference League as well, with 4 goals from 2.7 XG. So he's running really hot this season, which is probably why there's a lot of interest in him. this will level out, but if it does level out, it's still a really healthy return anyway. It's still impressive, even if it levels off. So an interesting option. And if we scroll down and have a look at the important bit. So here's his actual data. So progressive carries and successful take-ons is the important bit. He's very good at ball progression. He's good at dribbling, good at driving the ball forwards. He's quite tenacious. He's not the strongest of players, but he will never give up without a fight. 50-50s and stuff. He will try his best to win the physical duels. Progressive passes are quite tidy as well. Decent in counter-attacks, decent in sort of quick build-up. He's got that about him. He's also got a reasonable shot volume, just under 3 shots per 90, but you'd want it. Again, he's been playing a lot of forward minutes, so you would expect that to be reasonably high. So this is based on just under 1,900 minutes. Okay, defensive output, I guess. It's fine. It's above average in tackles. I always like having a decent interception stat on anybody because it implies intelligence and being able to read the game somewhat. So I like that. Blocks, maybe it's to do with pressing structures. Again, I've not watched Frankfurt too much this season. I watched them a lot last year, but obviously they've changed with departures. So who does he compare to? Interesting players on this list. You've got Jared Bowen, who I think that kind of marries up with my initial assessment of this guy. Speedy, counterattacks, not the strongest, but will always try and not give up in his physical duels. I think that also applies to Jared Bowen. I think that's quite a similar description of a player. Yep. Marcus Thuram, I think he's a bit stronger, but he's an absolute beast for Inter. We definitely should have got him on a free. Cody Gakpo, obviously really, really good. I do have question marks over whether he's going to work for Liverpool, though. I don't think he's going to stay. No. Moani, there you go. Funny that. He was obviously at Frankfurt, so he's profiling similarly to one of his ex-teammates, which is interesting. You've just got quite strong, tenacious players in here. With Aubameyang, you've got Gabriel Jesus, Malpe, Lautaro Martinez. So, good kind of speedy forwards with a little bit of umph and aggression. They'll be a bit tenacious, try not to lose the ball. Foxy said he's a Canadian citizen. I didn't know that, but chose to play for Egypt. So his career to date is Germany. So not the most minutes. I didn't actually pick this up when doing research. I've just clocked that maybe he's had injuries, so we'll check that together. We're learning together. So he's played lots of German minutes at Wolfsburg, St. Pauli in the second Bundesliga, Wolfsburg again, Stuttgart, Wolfsburg, Frankfurt. So he's been all over. There's a lot of clips of him at Wolfsburg wearing, I think he wore the 20 shirt. So there's a lot of decent clips from him across multiple clubs. To be fair, he's been around for a little while. And if we have a look at his SofaScore, so here he is again. So they're saying he's worth 16.5. I mean, I think you could probably pick him up for a reasonable amount, to be fair. But I'm sure they wouldn't mind getting a decent bag for him. To be fair, left wing striker, we know that bit. So buckets of experience, obviously, because he's playing for Egypt. He's getting a lot of international minutes as well. He's playing in European competitions in the Conference League, and he's playing in the Bundesliga, which is a reasonably competitive league this year. He's played against Cape Verde and Congo. He will have played against Mbemba against Congo.
I must have seen him.
You probably have.
Don't remember.
So they just played against Dortmund, and they lost. You can't fault them for that. Dortmund are a good side. We've lost to them twice this season as well. So lineups. We have got bloody Julian Brandt. He gives me nightmares, that boy. So they lined up. Robin Koch went there. There you go. So Mario Götze is at Frankfurt now. So the once upon a time superstar World Cup winner that's where he is. He seems to disappear everywhere. He was at PSV. Now he's here. So here is Marmoush at the top. So their spearhead is 5'9", but he's actually doing all right. It's kind of working. I like it. From what I've seen, it's doing fine. He didn't do particularly well that game, but it's Dortmund. It's a tough gig. So he did fine against. He got an assist in a win against Freiburg. So if we scroll down, they've got Kevin Trapp as well as the captain. So that was him leading the line as well. Götze got the goal behind him. So Marmoush, as you can see, go away, silly advert. So favoured the left side, but again, you would probably imagine that because he does. He does also play on the wing. Oh, Kabak got a red card, silly boy. So how did he do this game? He had 4 shots that were all blocked, a couple of successful dribbles, a couple of key passes, got a cross in, tried very hard physically, as you can see, but 6 out of 15, maybe do a little bit more from him. But at 25, I don't think he's going to get much stronger than that, really. Got 3 free kicks for his team. Let's scroll back across if I can. Sorry, it's really weird seeing Hoffenheim on here because I am managing Hoffenheim on Football Manager at the moment. So it's weird. I recognise all of these players. Grealish is playing as a centre-half. No way. He was a DM.
Yeah.
What else have we got? We've got a goal against Wolfsburg, his former team. So they played in a funny 4-4-2. Oh, yeah. Hugo Ekitike's there, isn't he? I forgot about that. And Donny van der Beek. This is a weird mishmash of players. This is odd. This is when you're 5 seasons deep into a Football Manager save and all the teams are mixed up. It's so bizarre. So favoured the right side on this time. What have we got? Sorry, somebody just said German minutes. That's hilarious. Yes, German minutes. They were good minutes. 4 out of 7 ground duels, 2 out of 4 aerials. So I like the physicality. Again, I will keep saying he's 5'9", but he's spearheading and he's doing well physically. Across a long ball. Did we get any shots off? 2 on target. Good job. 2 successful dribbles. He's doing fine. He's doing well in the matches. When did Kalajic get hurt?
Is he hurt again, is he?
Yeah, he's hurt again.
Oh, dear.
There he is. It was this game. So against Freiburg. So this was how they were lining up. And then Kalajic got injured. And then Marmoush has had to do things that he shouldn't really be doing. Although he's doing fine. So Götze was playing a more advanced role. Marmoush has had to move up. Lots of things have had to shift. But he's doing really well, to be fair to him. He's doing really, really well. I think this would be a really, really tidy pickup for somebody. I'm not sure if it would suit us, to be completely honest. Again, we're overcrowded with right-footed, left-sided players. As a cheap third option, I don't know. 29 caps for Egypt. 5 goals for Egypt as well. So he's got buckets of experience at international level. Scroll down too far. Sorry, guys. So they're saying, Transfermarkt is saying 15 mil. Again, we're in England, so probably whack another 10 on that. Frankfurt would want money for him. Oh, there you go. There's his dual citizenship with Canada. So he's been involved in the international setup for quite a long time. I mean, you say he's a Canadian citizen, but he's been playing for Egypt since the under-20s. So it must have been in his mind when he was very young, to be fair. Contracted, we've already looked at till 2027.
Any players in the agency?
Value. Well, I was just going to point out his market value. Look, it was pretty low. So he's made the move to Frankfurt. And obviously, Moani leaving the team has allowed other players to get more minutes and his value's just tripled. CAA Stella is quite a popular one. We know loads of players on this agency list, to be fair. If my internet decides to wake up. This is a really, really popular one.
Who got them?
Everyone. Basically everyone. Anybody who plays for us. Oscar Bob's there. Yeah, we'll have at least one player on here, I would imagine. Oh, Elliot Anderson's there. Oh yeah, because he moved. Yeah, this is the one. Because I tried to get an interview with Elliot Anderson, and then as I did that, he moved agencies, which was a really bad timing. We've also got Nick Pope.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a few people who are represented by that agency.
Interesting.
In all honesty, if I was playing a Football Manager save or for anybody else, I think this would be a great pickup for someone. I'm not sure if it would be appropriate for us. I just don't think. Again, he plays up front / left side. Is he going to play in front of Barnes and Gordon? I don't think so. Isak always also favours those exact positions. As depth, maybe. It depends on the price. He's not going to be super cheap because he's still well in contract.
Yeah.
I don't think he's worth the kind of money Frankfurt would demand from us. He's a good player.
Can we check his injury record out, Stato? You said you were going to check his injury record out?
Yeah, that is a fair point. I forgot. Stats, injury history. It's not bad. So maybe he just wasn't selected. He's a rotation player, probably. And now he's kind of had his breakthrough and he's playing a bit more now. Yeah, so the injury's fine. It wasn't injuries; it was purely just general selection. It seems.
Yeah.
So no major issues there. He had a month off a few years ago with a foot injury that's not reoccurred, and everything else has just been general illness, really. So yeah, he's fine. It's this is the kind of player I see going to a Brentford or a Palace, and he's a good player. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I'm just not sure this is a Newcastle signing. To be fair.
Interesting player though, absolutely. Although Tristan doesn't think so. He says, "Bang average player." Steve Bruce would sign these. Apart from Dortmund, Leipzig, Bayern, and Leverkusen, the players in Germany are bang average.
That's ridiculous.
Very generalised.
Moani played for this team,
yeah,
and has gone to PSG. That is a ridiculous statement.
We got Cisse, Puppy Cisse from Freiburg, and he was fantastic for us, wasn't he? So, it's very generalised there, Tristan. I'm afraid we missed a good biting challenge type of play with quality.
That's crazy. Like Kramaric plays for Hoffenheim, Goetz is in at Frankfurt, Moani was at Frankfurt. You've got so many good players in different teams across the Bundesliga. Like there's really good players across the Bundesliga.
Aha says Alex is when he news on Mamadashvili.
His name keeps coming up, so we probably will review him again purely because his name keeps cropping back up. So we have done, for anybody new who's not really seen too many transfer shows, we have done Mamadashvili before, the Georgian goalkeeper.
We did.
I think he's at Valencia, isn't he? We'll do it again because his name just won't go away. So we'll probably review him at some point too.
We did him in December, we're going to say, before the January transfer window, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, or January. So check out the December transfer.
Oh, yeah, Big Joe came from Hoffenheim as well. That is a great shout. He came from Hoffenheim. So
really, he did indeed. Gillian says, not sure about Omar being 25. He's not shouting out to me. Well, that's fair enough. Wakiango says, no feels high energy players are what the high press games about, but definitely need that tackling mid in his opinion. Yes, we do. I think we do. Does it matter who you sign? Will Eddie play them or keep playing his fave? Says Wacky Angler. Interesting.
Oh yeah, Frankfurt won the Europa League, didn't they? Yeah, that's a good point. Sorry, I'm just overtaking with Fox's comment.
That's
yeah,
okay.
You can't diss the Bundesliga like that. The Bundesliga is awesome.
Scott McTominay and Arno Wisser. I'm not sure. I mean, McTominay's a strange one, isn't he? But there you go.
Just misused.
Just seen Bruno on Sky Sports with the Brazil squad. Yeah, I just saw that as well. The Wacky Angler says Everton are demanding 80 million for Branthwaite, so that makes him Botman worth at least 100. Branthwaite's a good player, I've got to say. Jan says, I prefer to get Wiefer from Feyenoord. That's probably not how you pronounce it. It's probably Vifo or something like that, but still. Everton will overprice their players. They're pissed off and they need money also. But he's a young English centre-half, so I guess there's a premium there. J7, of course, has just been mentioned. And again, Foxy's saying that Frankfurt won the Europa League, Bundesliga, and absolutely right. I'm looking forward to the summer when Stato announces that we've just signed Jamal Musiala from Bayern. That'd be an interesting signing, wouldn't it?
I mean, he wouldn't be my first pick. I mean,
he's the English one that plays for Germany.
Yeah. So we could have had he could have declared for England. We could have had Bellingham and Musiala. We absolutely could have done that. It's if we'd have had the players declare for us that should have done. I mean, technically, Haaland could have declared for us as well. We could have the most ridiculous Brexit ball with Bellingham and Musiala somewhere in the middle, and we could have Haaland and Kane up front together. That would just be the most ridiculous 4-4-2.
And Kevin De Bruyne feeding them.
I don't think he can. Can he play for England?
Yeah. His mum's English.
Oh, is she? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. What position is a priority for someone in your opinion? Says Nick.
I mean, that's a tough one because obviously everybody's going to instantly think of midfielders, but we have enough midfielders. They're just all broken, all banned.
It's a striker for me, I've got to say.
I would say, I don't know. I want to say 6. I want to say a proper 6. There's a few things I'd like to say. I'd like to say a number 10 or a proper 6, but I don't think we'll get a 6, and we don't play a formation that requires a 10. So I think the 10 is one of my favourite positions in football, and it isn't used anymore. So I think you're probably right. I think with Callum Wilson and the injury record of our forwards, we could do with somebody who's a general forward who's specialises as a centre forward generally.
Yep. We've got a super chat from Connor who says, seems like Ollie situation pending for Eddie. Discuss. I'm not sure about that.
I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know what that says. What does that say? It's upside down, but I can't read it. I'm not Australian. Just want to say, might not always agree with Alex, but massively respect the work he puts in for the channel. Top guy. There you go, Alex. A nice positive comment. No one like Wissa as backup. Yeah, Wissa's been mentioned a lot, and I think he might have been linked. I've seen him linked. I'm sure I have. Jim Golden. Good evening to you. We need to buy players and go straight into starting 11. I think. My school used to have an Egyptian car park attendant. Toon the moot. Good Lord. Dear me. I was just about to say Haaland. You beat him to it. Haaland and Kane. People saying that. And Nick Thornton says, and Southgate would still F it up. Absolutely, probably would. Chippers wants a left back and a striker. Fubar Steve, a striker, and a right winger, and Gillian, a striker. Mike, a striker.
No. Give it 5 or 10 years. Well, maybe 5 to 10. We'll probably get a lot of Eastern European players who are dual nationality that can technically declare for England, because you've got a lot of Polish players coming up through the ranks now that are dual nationality because of obviously there was a high Polish population in the country, and I would imagine we hopefully would have similar with other neighbouring nations. So some people don't like the whole immigration conversation, but could be really good for football. So it could be really interesting.
100%. Jan says, no way Billy KDB for England to be right. Well, he can't now. Of course he can't, but he was eligible before he started playing for Belgium. Of course he was. Striker should be the priority, says Julie. I like coffee, says striker too. Uncle Buzzcock says a left back and a right centre back, and then a striker and a right winger. We have
4 left backs on the books right now.
Well, that's right. And Angler's asking for a left back too. Nick says striker and right wing. Paul McGrath, born in England. Yeah, he was. He was a beast with the drinking problem. Great player, though. One of the best centre halves I think I've ever seen. Never trained. Never ever trained because of his knees. We definitely need a centre forward. Says Mick. Let's go. And Ab says we need a right sided attacker, which I tend to agree with too. It's a transfer show, Tristan, but he says, can we talk about Jose spending 2 days with our chairman? Once at the boxing and once at the F1.
Well, it's because he's out of a job and he's just getting invited to things and making public appearances.
There you go. So I'm not going to talk about Jose because he's not anything to do with this. Anyway, let's get to the third player, our final player of the evening, who is, what a player, Florian Wirtz. Yes, so what a player he is.
Before you tell me off in the chat, guys, I know this is really unlikely and 99% no. However, the Chronicle and a few other people did an article on him potentially being the kind of buy in the future and we're name dropping him. Therefore, I'm going to have my fun and we're going to look at Florian Wirtz because he's outrageous. And I do think we may buy this caliber of player in the future. And he's not, okay, I'm going to offend people here. He's not at an elite level club because in theory, Bayer Leverkusen in its current state is not an elite level club. Although they might be able to go and win a double in the, I don't even, are they still in the DFB Pokal? I don't know. But they could potentially win the Europa League and it looks like they probably will win the Bundesliga. So, yeah, they are a top club at the moment in the current climate. But in terms of the last decade, they're not an elite club. But, yeah, we're talking about him because Newcastle-based journalists have written articles about him. Therefore, we get to do him on the Toon Review. So, he's really good. His middle name is Richard, but don't let that deter you. He is absurdly good. He is really, really good at football. He is just outrageous. So for anybody who's never seen him play, he plays as a 10. He's an attacking midfielder. He is just a baby. He's only 20 years old, nearly 21, but it feels like he's been around for ages. He's been playing since he was 17, 18 at senior level. He's been around for a very long time, it seems, and he's still very young. This season, obviously, he's leading the charge with Xabi Alonso, trying to win the Bundesliga. With 7 goals and 10 assists. So his XG is kind of bang on where it's meant to be, but 17 goal contributions for this young man is just outrageous. It's absolutely filthy. And then 7 goal contributions in the Europa League as well is just absurd. For anybody who watched Bayer Leverkusen the other night as well, if you watched that game against Karabakh, the Azerbaijani team, Florian Wirtz was just mental. He just picked the ball up and took it off everyone, was popping shots left and right, pinging the ball back in and crosses and flicks and tricks and no-look passes. He's just absurdly good. This is a generational talent. Hands down, generational talent. And if we scroll down, I'll show you why. The data backs it up. This is based on 3,400 minutes. So this is not a flash in the pan. He's just an outrageously impressive player. Progressive passes in the top 3% in Europe, and he's playing at a very high level. Progressive carries is also really, really high in the 76th percentile. So nearly 5 progressive carries per 90. Really, really high successful take-on rate as well. So if he squares you up, he's going to beat you most of the time. His success, it's just, yeah, he's so technically gifted. Lots of touches in the attack and penalty area, receiving the ball high up as well. I would ignore the defensive metrics. Well, not ignore them, but I would take these with a pinch of salt because Bayer Leverkusen this season are enormously dominant. Enormous possession numbers, enormous just constant attack, just down your throat all the time. So the defensive metrics are going to be a little bit skewed. It doesn't mean he's not good at doing things. It just means that they've got most of the ball. And then in terms of the offensive stuff here, only 2 shots per 90, which is a bit low, but they do tend to work the opportunity. Of course, they've got Boniface, they've got a big striker. He's not always the guy that, they take turns. Grimaldo has some shots. Grimaldo takes the set pieces. So not as many shot opportunities for Wirtz, but I've watched games this season where I've seen him take about 5 shots. So it's very dependent on the opposition and whether he can get into those scoring positions. Who does he profile like? Well, you've got Remy Cabella's on the list. Look at that. I mean, he's a cracking player. He was just rubbish for us. Kingsley Coman, you've got Hoffman, Dembele's on this list. Cherky, of course, massively highly rated player that we've done before. Sané's on the list as well. And you've got Furyk, I think is how you say that, from Stuttgart. Javi Simmons as well. So let's have a look. We might as well go to the transfer marks because I know people are going to start saying money. They paid about 200k for him. Is that right? Well, we'll have a look as well. So he's from Pulheim in Germany, wherever that is. 14 caps for Germany already, which is a lot considering his age. There's an awful lot of caps. And if we scroll down, we can have a look. So current market value is it's a lot of money, that is, isn't it? Because normally transfer marks is kind of an undervalue for what people generally pay in the real life market. So if this is an undervalue, that's terrifying. He's going to cost a lot of money. I think if this guy does leave Bayer Leverkusen, it's going to be for one of the biggest clubs in the world. It's going to be a Real Madrid in my opinion, this has got Real Madrid written all over it because of the aging midfielders. But again, there's not too many teams in the world at the moment play his position. So his contract does expire in 2027. His player agent is relative, so there's not a lot to go off there. How much did they pay for him? We can confirm that. Yeah, there we go. 200k from Cologne. Yeah. Wow. From the Brauweiler youth, whoever they are. Let's go and have a look and see who else is in their academy. God. And he's the 4th youngest Bundesliga player, 17 years and 15 days when he made his debut. So he's been around for a long time. I mean, that's a good point. If we scroll back down on his FB ref, that's a lot of lines of data for somebody who's not yet 21. I mean, he has what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's got 8 lines on FB ref, considering he's not 21 yet, which is he's played a lot of football. So his probably breakout season was here as a 17-year-old in the Bundesliga when he made that debut. I would imagine this probably was that season. 25 starts, 11 goal contributions in his first season, which is absurd. And then his second season when he was 18. Bearing in mind, guys, he did actually have a big injury a while ago. It was one injury, and it looks like he's overcome that and he's fine. But he was injured for quite a long time as well. 22 starts in his second season with 17 goal contributions. I think this was his injury season potentially. Yeah, it was. This last season was his injury season. Still managed 11 starts and 7 goal contributions. And then this year he's matched his season, his career best at 17 goal contributions, and he's still got quite a lot of matches left in the Bundesliga. So he's going to smash his record this year. And he's just nuts. I mean, for people who actually want to have a look at his Sofa score, they're saying he's worth 95 million, which again, not that that's going to help. He wears the shirt number 10 because he is a proper out and out 10. I mean, this is nuts. I don't even need to tell you guys that it's nuts. Look, assist and an 8, 2 assists and an 8.7, assist, goal. He's just involved in everything for his team in any competition. He's just pulling the strings as a 20-year-old. So let's look at the most recent game. Oh, that was only a couple of days ago. I've missed this game. I might go and watch that later. So you've got Patrick Schick, of course, was the rescuer, was the hero against Karabakh and had scored those 2 late goals. So they lined up in a funny 3-4-3. I don't know why we're scared to play wing backs. And loads of people shout at me when we talk about back fives. They play a back 5. They just do it really well because their wing backs in Grimaldo and Frimpong are elite. Xhaka pulls the strings. Palacios is an absolute monster. Wirtz just has license to do whatever he wants, and they just swarm the ball and they lose it. Xhaka's a great calming presence as well. But Wirtz pulling all the strings, and in this game specifically, well, he's all over the place. Look at him; he's just touched the ball everywhere offensively. So he's had, true to his FB ref, saying he has about 2-ish shots a game. That's true here. 2 shots in this game, 3 successful dribbles. He's hit the woodwork. He's had 106 touches. See what I mean about how dominant they are. High passing accuracy, considering he's one of the guys who tries all the dangerous stuff, 87%. 2 key passes. He's tried 5 crosses, didn't get any, unfortunately. 3 accurate long balls. Very decent physicals, considering he is still quite small. Does show a bit of aggression. And yeah, doesn't really take set pieces. I think he probably would, but Grimaldo is one of the world's best at the moment. So yeah, he ain't taking free kicks off Grimaldo, I'm afraid. Grimaldo scored a free kick against us. So for anybody who doesn't remember, when we played Benfica in pre-season a couple of seasons ago, Grimaldo scored a free kick against us. That was when Joe Linton got sent off because, unfortunately, he forgot that everybody else could understand his Portuguese on that day, and he angered a lot of people, and he got sent off. But yeah, Florian Wirtz, a little bit of a throwaway scout for today's show because I think it's very unlikely we get this kid. But I think there is a universe in which, in the next 3 to 5 years, we do make a signing of this caliber. I think we absolutely will. It's just a case of who's it going to be. Because we will do one. I reckon we will splurge on somebody super, super special. It's just going to be impossible to tell who that's going to be or when it's going to be. Is it going to be 3 years, 5 years? We'll see. But hopefully one day we are splashing out on a player of this quality.
I mean, the potential for that transfer fee could actually go up if he has a fantastic Euros at home. You know, that price could even go up from there. So
it could be extortionate. It could be 150. It could start to get silly.
It could. Female Steve made this comment. I asked yesterday, and I'm late to this show, but have we been linked to that midfield Edison again? I remember his stats being saucy.
Constantly, yes. He's another one. Edison from Atalanta and the Marmadashvili, the goalkeeper. Those are 2 names that keep cropping up across all sources, whether it's British media, general in-the-know people, or media sources from within those countries. Those 2 names do keep cropping up everywhere. So we'll keep an eye on them, and if it gets a bit warmer, we'll do some more shows on them.
Nick says, imagine what you could learn playing alongside Longstaff. Foxy says, Wirtz, Alex is so happy about this one. Wirtz seems to be getting better and better.
I'd take Wirtz over Musiala, to be honest. Musiala's, you could argue, probably better right now, but I don't care. I just like Florian Wirtz.
Kev says, where was Wirtz linked without them being off their heads? It was a Chronicle, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was the Chronicle. I mean, I'll try and find it keep doing comments. I'll try and find it.
He looks a bit like Harvey Barnes. Well, not on the pitch, he doesn't. Tristan says, £120 million player is linked with Man City and is weird but so creative. He runs like a chicken, but has an eye for creating goals. Him, Frimpong and Grimaldo create so much. Wish we signed Grimaldo. Yeah, we could have actually had him, couldn't we? Or could have done. Alison Maxman says, I'm always open to return back to Newcastle United. There you go. They beat Stuttgart in the quarterfinal of the Pokal. John says, seen him at Bayern. See him at Bayern. City want him as well. Stick Eye says, sell Longstaff by Kimmich. Interesting.
There's actually loads of Chronicle articles about him. They did one last year as well.
Maybe the editors that like you are a fan of his and just like to write about him. We won't get Wirtz, but I think we will get a Coop Miners type to Stephen.
Cooper Miners. Mm-hmm.
He looks like Barnes. I think we'll never see him. The next KDB, says John.
He's more mobile than Kate. Well, he's a lot younger. I mean, and he's not as injury prone at the moment.
Pay up his Wirtz, it says Peter.
He is definitely Wirtz.
Hello there, says, can we not get Kaminsky in from Luton as replacement for Dubs?
Kaminsky, I mean, I haven't really watched him enough. Is he a good sweeper? I'm not sure. I'd have to watch him. He's not been linked. So.
It's time to come home, says Gillian. Who are the three left backs? Target is the only real left back. Hall's a mid, but can play left back.
Paul Dummett.
Paul Dummett, yeah. And
he's leaving, but Paul Dummett is a left back, technically. Centre half, but he plays left back. I mean, if we're going to really get crazy with this, I could say Matt Ritchie. Obviously, that's nonsense.
We've also got lad at Watford, haven't we, Lewis? So he's not.
And Jamal Lewis. Technically, we've got like 6 people who could play left back, which is far too many.
Look at all that green, so I like coffee. Hello there. That's a very controversial thing. Sal Trippier. Interesting. We need to make Bruno the captain.
How's Jamal Lewis doing?
I don't know.
Curious now. You've just reminded me of his existence. I'm curious. Oh. He's doing okay. He's played 20. He's got 29 appearances in the Championship this season for Watford. But he's still contracted until 2025. So when he comes back this summer, he still has another year left on his contract. So we're going to have to do something. We're either going to have to try and sell him or just ship him out again on another loan. He's on 38 grand a week as well. This is why we've got no FFP wiggle room, guys. Is because we've got so many players like Hayden, Hendrick, Lewis that just we're paying so much money to that just aren't here. That's why we haven't got any wiggle room.
You guys need some vitamin D, says Alpachuga. Some sunshine to do. Look at the outfit. He's an Adidas boy. They can sign him for us. No, not just us with Adidas though. Tristan, leave Billy alone. That's a strange comment. I don't think anyone's done anything to me. That's strange. Looking at his chart, he looks good. He's nearly as good as War Miley, says Andrew. Jam Stasher says, surely we can buy him on some Boxing Day sale or something.
No, he's going to be very, very, very expensive.
Bundesliga players are not good, they said. Yeah.
Who said that?
One said. Can we sign Jamie Vardy on a free? Basically the same thing.
Nope.
No.
Definitely not.
Great shows always, says Charles. Kev says, many teams can pay £100 million for players now with this FFP BS without selling their own stars. Well, of course, there is potential that we might be selling one of ours. So,
I mean, look, if teams come in for Isak and Bruno, then I'd splash the cash. I'd just throw down the gauntlet and bid for someone like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of conflicting reports about if you still have a decent amount to spend or not in the summer. Surely you should be able to spend more than before with Adidas money, Champions League money, etc., etc. I guess so, and maybe more sponsorships also. Yeah,
expiring contracts, Adidas, any potential sales, and then revenue starting to factor in from Champions League TV money. There's going to be, it will be fine. It's not going to be loads, but it will be more than I think some journalists are letting on.
Tristan says, Alex, can you look at the kid Adam Holozek? He's just as good as Wirtz. Well, we haven't been linked to him. So.
I don't think he's as good as Wirtz, but he's really, really good. And yeah, we actually reviewed Adam Holozek before he went to Leverkusen. Who did he used to play for? Because we actually did him on a transfer show before he went there, like a couple of years ago. He went to from.
Yeah, Turkey's been linked again. I saw that as well.
Sparta Prague. Oh yeah, because we saw him a bunch in I think in European competitions. I think he got really popular. Didn't he do well against England as well? I think he did stuff against England, and then his name got out there. and then he ended up joining Leverkusen. So there was a big push for him, sort of media wise, a couple of years ago, and now obviously that's died down a bit since he's gone to Leverkusen.
That's it then, folks. We've reviewed 3 players. That's a show over and done with for tonight. That's 6 players in 2 days. How many come, if any? Who knows?
Well, we do have more to do on Patreon as well. So
we do indeed. We do absolutely indeed. Tomorrow night, Paul and Sam are going to do the women's show with their guest, Aaron, which would be a very, very interesting show. So tune in for that, people. But until tomorrow, basically, it's a case of good night. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, whatever's left of it. And we shall see you tomorrow night with the ladies' show.
Away the lads and lasses.
Come back and check on some breathing.
Ah.